Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the heart of central Nevada, where shadows linger and secrets lurk in every corner. Amidst the desolation lies Mount Wilson Ranch, a place cloaked in darkness and steeped in chilling lore. Here, whispers of skinwalkers haunt the night, while tales of alien sightings pierce the silence with a shiver-inducing chill. What lurks beneath the surface is even more unsettling. Rumors of government cover-ups and MK-Ultra mind control experiments, casting a sinister pall over the land. Buried deep within the earth, ancient alien artifacts lie awaiting to be unearthed. Join us as we venture into the depths of Mount Wilson Ranch, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs, and truth might be more terrifying than we dare to imagine. My name is Smithereens, and I'm a cryptid hunter who's recently been searching for skinwalkers in the search to try to prove that they don't exist. I was invited out to Mount Wilson Ranch by the team there in hopes to try to investigate the different mysteries that surround this very, very interesting and unique place. I've done a lot of different investigations, but none to this degree with this kind of danger. I was literally warned by Mount Wilson Ranch that there's a high potentiality to see some very unnerving and alarming things out here. But if you know anything about me, that wasn't going to stop me. So I got in my car and hopped on a 7-hour drive to get to Mount Wilson Ranch. And I'm not going to lie, immediately once I got out here, I realized there was nothing around me other than government land, which made this all the much more creepy. I'm literally so far out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by government land, that even if I did see something out here that I couldn't explain, I wouldn't have any way to get away from it. After hours of driving, I'd finally made it to Mount Wilson Ranch and got accustomed with the team in the area, to which they started explaining some of the creepy history of the place.
What's the strangest thing that you've seen here? Have you like full body apparitions or like alien-esque kind of things? What would be your strangest thing?
You're more like, you've lived here longer and have all the vibrations and the weird like craft.
Yeah, you get a lot of feeling. A lot of light anomalies, lights that come go.
I've seen actual, what I would call like apparitions. This is the first place I've seen things that I thought looked like a person, like a legit ghost, like you hear about. I've only seen like balls of light, like fireflies and weird shadow shapes that you never know. They were trying to work with shaman and trying to time travel artifacts from the past and the future, trying to channel aliens and all that.
Things,
Stranger
entities,
Things,
stuff.
Star camps for kids experiments, doing psychic experiments with kids. It's crazy.
Here they got a room, mess. Shit everywhere. Want to go into the cluster?
These old projectors
yeah.
were left here by Bigelow.
Right.
They're underneath the table here now. You can just see the lenses on the front.
Funny enough, in our recent pictures, we have pictures of Mr. Bigelow standing there with that machine right with him. Yes.
If you don't know who Robert Bigelow is, I suggest you look him up after this video, but I can tell you in summary, he did a lot of investigating at Skinwalker Ranch and actually started here at Mount Wilson Ranch, and well, some of the things he studied were a bit sketchy in nature. What makes Mount Wilson absolutely terrifying is honestly the unknown. There's a lot of things that have allegedly happened here, such as MK-Ultra mind control, alien activity, and even Skinwalker activity. It's just a weird place where not a lot makes sense. Take a look at some of these artifacts.
Pottery that's been found up here. Ancient basket maker culture stuff. Thousands of years old, some of this stuff. The craft part Jeff and I found on the mountain. And it's like it was made in Florida. We have no idea how it got there.
Carl and Jeff told me multiple times that they have been out hiking and literally just found random artifacts in places they've explored thousands of times and they never saw, which is honestly really, really bizarre. It's almost as if there's a portal here to another dimension that we cannot see with our own eyes, and that is honestly what Jeff and Carl believe might be here, especially at the meadow, which we will see a little bit later. It is worth quickly noting that since I filmed at the ranch, there has been some tension between Carl and Jeff. I'm not going to get deep into that, but I will say that it feels like there might be some sort of negative presence here that had some sort of influence over that. Anyways, I decided to branch off on my own. I wanted to see what this treehouse had in store for me, so I decided to go over there completely alone and go inside, and honestly, once I got inside, I was kind of terrified. I'm not entirely sure about the history of this treehouse, but what I can tell you from entering it is just everything about it gave me a weird and creepy vibe. Like, nothing about this place felt good. And yeah, look at the inside. Like, tell me that's not terrifying. As you all know, I don't really believe in the paranormal or skinwalkers or anything like that, and the whole point of this journey was to test faith, so I did this. Alright, so I'm currently at Mount Wilson Ranch in a old treehouse on a little pond. It's really creepy and cool. There's something outside. So, we're out here to look for skinwalkers, paranormal, whatever might be out here. We're gonna find out. So, without further ado, we'll start it off. Skinwalker, skinwalker, skinwalker. Oh, hi. There's a dog. Hi. Hello. Hi. Is he the skinwalker? Now look, I don't think that the dog is a skinwalker, but the timing was pretty creepy. Regardless, I decided to follow the dog, and he led me over to the meadow, which Carl gave us a little bit of history on this
We're literally
meadow.
standing 200 feet down below us is a 500-foot triangular resonating something. Responds to us, communicates with us. It sends us signals and answers us when we try to talk to it and send it signals. And we're just trying to find the way in.
Now look, I'm not sure what I believe with Mount Wilson Ranch, but what I will tell you is something about the energy just feels strange and off, in all honesty. It's almost as if there's like a portal to different dimensions here, and we get different glimpses into like different realms and people and time frames. It's just really, really strange and bizarre here. At this point in time, Carl was getting ready for a paranormal investigation, so I did some investigating of the ranch on my own, and honestly, everything about this place just felt really creepy. Little did I know, things were about to get extremely bizarre. I got a phone call from Carl that seemed kind of panicked. He said that there was something on all fours down at the bottom of the ranch in the meadow, so I decided to go out there and try to meet him to see what it was. Now I can tell you firsthand experience, the energy felt extremely off out here as soon as I got outside and I was alone. Luckily for both of our sakes, it ended up just being a pack of wild horses that was out, well, roaming around at night. So it was kind of terrifying, but it wasn't anything paranormal. But that wasn't going to explain what was soon to come. I wanted to set the energy, well, a little off for this paranormal investigation we were about to conduct. So we went down to the settler's cabin, also known for paranormal activity and a lot of weird and strange occurrences, including poltergeist activity. The vibe on this place was, well, you guessed it, also off. It just felt really creepy. I felt like I was being watched every second. It felt like there was almost something up in this attic area, but there was nothing there. So then I did the logical thing.
It's nighttime. It's honestly pretty creepy. So without further ado, Skinwalker, Skinwalker, Skinwalker. All right, well, let's see what the night has in store.
Then we decided to make our way back to the paranormal hotspot inside the saloon.
This is more basic and this is more advanced. This is a radiation sensor, thermal imager, and this is also a radiation sensor, just a different one, so you can double check. Paranormal investigators that actually worked with the government and reported back to the Pentagon, they were all up here looking for whatever was underground in some underworld dimension. Or we can even do a meditation experiment where like we have that scientific sensor and the other devices where like I can go somewhere else and try to meditate and see if we can conjure activity. Let's say if I go in the other room and I do the meditation and you hear footsteps move through here.
Okay.
Instead of just guessing if it's real or not, we can check the sensor data.
Dang.
And if there's a spike in gamma radiation,
Then there's something.
no way that we imagined that. There's no way it was the wind. We actually have proof.
So we did just that. Carl went to the other room to where I could see him and decided to see if he could conjure up any activity, and I sat in the saloon with a thermal imaging camera trying to see if I could catch anything on the camera. This is where things got really weird. I got this unnerving feeling, not like I was being watched, I just felt wrong. And at that very moment, I picked up the thermal imaging camera and looked out the window down the hallway and saw a shadow figure walking outside and then a shadow in the hallway, to which Carl also reported hearing and seeing something. I've never experienced anything like this, and you can honestly see and hear the fear in my voice.
No.
No?
No.
You saw that?
What?
Did you see something?
I thought I saw somebody walk in front of your vehicle, like towards your room.
I just saw someone out there.
Outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. Let me go.
I thought, yeah, they walked. No, there was someone there, like 100%.
Percent to 5%. Dude, something's going on here tonight.
In reviewing of the thermal imaging camera, there is a obvious figure in the hallway to which it walks down the hall, but then there's also something outside walking the opposing direction.
That's weird. We should not have a vertical and then a negative.
And you're talking that big line?
This
and that small
big
line?
spike coming down is bizarre. I have never even seen that one like that before. And then this one, this is just in the last hour. We had 2 spikes in gamma radiation and then a dip.
Timing?
That is anomalous.
And that, look at the timing. That's 2100 would be 9, and and it probably would have been like.
This is right when it happened.
That's-
Look,
hey,
What I can tell you with all honesty is we really didn't fake this. I don't believe in the paranormal, skinwalkers, or anything like that, but whatever we caught on camera was genuinely not there. Like, nobody else is inside this building except for Carl and I. What makes things so much creepier is the fact that Carl and I both saw whatever that figure was, and then there was immediately nothing outside. And then the fact that it also showed up on the MUPOS device showing radiation, gamma, and microwave levels spiking, but then going negative. Immediately after searching outside, Carl gave me a Geiger counter, to which I walked around the building, seeing if we could get any spikes in radiation. Everything we've experienced up to this point honestly proves that there was something weird in this building. Like, the fact that those radiation levels spiked is something we can't create on our own, so something's going on here tonight. I walked over to these bathrooms, which always give me a weird feeling when walking by, and Carl told me if the Geiger counter hit anything over 40 that there was something anomalous, and well, I got that weird feeling again and looked at the Geiger counter. It spiked to 50 immediately, and then I opened this door and it slammed shut. And immediately after, I got that same feeling as when I was sitting in the saloon and saw something on the thermal imaging camera. I don't know what this is, but something is going on in this ranch.
that was weird.
I don't believe in the paranormal, but I cannot explain to you what I feel right now. There is something going on at this place that I cannot put my finger on. I thought that would be the end of the activity, but it wasn't. I ended up going back into the saloon and we started to hear a bunch of weird noises.
did you just see that?
I didn't see it, but I heard. Did you hear that?
What was that?
It was a knocking. Chat, did you guys hear that? Please tell me someone else heard that knocking. What did you see?
Can you make it knock? Just knock on the counter of the wall.
Nothing happened inside the saloon, so we decided that we would do the logical thing and go outside and try to wander around and see if we could find anything. Now, the thing that's freaking me out is we both saw two different figures, except the figure I saw walked the opposite direction of Carl's figure. The one that Carl saw, he said walked towards my room, which is honestly freaking me out, so we went over there and decided to do some investigating. The room that I'm staying in is, yep, you guessed it, known for having a shadow figure in the form of a shaman that allegedly guards the ranch. After a full investigation, there was nothing in my room, and the only thing left to do was to go to sleep and, well, get ready for day 2.
Alright guys, day 2 at Mount Wilson Ranch. I just woke up here in the shaman room. Nothing happened last night, but there's always tonight. For now, it's time to get out there and start filming and see, well, what's in store for us at Mount Wilson Ranch, so let's get into it.
As soon as I opened the door, I got a breath of that fresh Nevada air, and I decided it was time for adventure. The sense of adventure had never been greater, so I caffeinated myself and got ready to go see what the day had in store for me. Aside from the possible looming government cover-ups, skinwalkers, aliens, ghosts, and all sorts of things, this place is honestly really, really beautiful. Like, it's kind of a slice of heaven, again, aside from all the, scary stuff.
Alright guys, do I dare go inside? This is where we saw a full body apparition last night, so I'm gonna do the logical thing.
Admittedly, I didn't sleep well last night, so I had a lot of time to reflect on what we had, seen last night in the saloon, and honestly, I still can't wrap my head around it. The only thing that makes sense to me is with that possible positive deflection and negative deflection on the gamma counter. I don't know, did we catch something stepping in from a different dimension and then immediately stepping out? What do you guys think down below? It's pretty early right now, so I decided that I would get up and go outside and honestly take in some of the beauty as well as explore the outskirts of the ranch to see if I'd find anything strange. So underneath us, there's allegedly a triangular-shaped, transmitting object several hundred feet under the ground. They don't know what it is, they're trying to reach it, but they have had no luck so far. All I can tell you is there's something crazy out here, and I don't know what it is yet. So without further ado, let's commence to day 2. Today the plan was, well, to search around the different outskirts and outlying areas of Mount Wilson Ranch in hopes to find something strange or exciting. Mount Wilson Ranch during the day is honestly an entirely different beast. Like, it's absolutely beautiful and everything around it is gorgeous, but there's just that strange underlying feeling of mystery and the unknown. With what we saw last night, the goal today was honestly to test fate to the maximum of my ability. Carl was telling me last night that in these areas they actually had some sort of MK Ultra mind control plants that went on here. Allegedly there was kids that had come from different outlying camps that they attempted to mind control and manipulate. So if that's not dark, I don't know what is. All I know is that Carl's told me multiple times, if I'm gonna find a skinwalker or something paranormal, it's gonna be here.
Skinwalker, skinwalker, skinwalker.
I spent a lot of time exploring all the different nooks and crannies of this area. In all honesty, I didn't find anything too concerning, but that might be because it's, the middle of the morning and, well, this place transforms at night. We already know that. It was time to meet up with Carl and Jeff back at the saloon and figure out what we were going to do with the rest of our day. And as soon as I got back there, they showed me these old spacecraft journals from the mid-90s. If this is what was being studied in the 90s, I can't imagine what they're studying now. All these different calculations and talking about like Tesla coils and anti-propulsion devices, and there was even some stuff about mind control. It's pretty bizarre. We discussed our plans for the day and came up with something honestly pretty logical and exciting. This here is a map of all the different mines in the area, and we found that there was an entrance not too far from Area 51, so we decided that it would be a good idea to head over there and see what we'd find. We drove a moderate distance, and that mountain right there is where they actually have like some of the different towers that guard Area 51. Now just to be clear here, we're not trespassing, and this area is not on the grounds of Area 51. It's just very, very close.
Portal that's on the mid portal, I guess you'd call it. Has some unbelievable workings, and you'll get to go into some cool ore banks.
Jeff explained to us that this was going to be a fairly difficult climb, and honestly, he wasn't lying. It was a pretty steep embankment that we had to hike all the way up, and yeah, it was difficult because we even got to the top, and yep, there was still snow left over, which was kind of crazy. I must say though, these mountains are honestly like absolutely gorgeous, other than the fact that we're like right next to Area 51. Yeah, we found these old railroad tracks, and I decided to climb out there and then do this.
Skinwalker, skinwalker, skinwalker.
And on that note, it was time to climb into some mines on the backside of Area 51, and well, honestly, hope for the best, because I have no idea what we're going to encounter in here.
Dude, look at that. See that? Oh, yeah.
The thing that fascinates me about these old mines is you get echoes of the people that were here before you in the history, and honestly, there's something about that that's kind of cool, except, well, when you're in one on the backside of Area 51, then it's a little bit terrifying. We came across this pretty old-looking door, so I had to do the logical thing and, well, go beyond it, because there's adventure out there to be had, and I want to see where this mine goes.
There is an opening. Holy crap. Dude. Brian. I'm going up there at some point. This is freaking awesome.
Yep, you guessed it, those very inviting and old-looking shabby ladders were just exactly what I was looking for in this mine, so I hopped on one and climbed up it to see where it would end up going.
Come on up. Film me on the way up. Please tell me.
Ore banks and shit, like you can see, wait till you see how much ore they cleared out of there.
Eventually, we hit a point where everyone was a little uncomfortable to keep going, but that wasn't going to stop me because, yep, you guessed it, I grabbed this old rusty pipe and used it as a rope to get up here and then found some pretty sketchy stuff at the top. At the top, there was another inviting old wooden ladder, and above it went even higher into the mine. There was a rope that I had to climb up, and eventually, once I got to the top, very, very carefully, I found that there was a plank crossing over this really, really deep vertical shaft, so I got on it to see where it would go. Skinwalker! It ended up being even too dangerous for me to keep going, but we found another ladder that went down, so we followed that.
The descent.
So yeah, just to reiterate, we're in a mine on the backside of Area 51, climbing down these old shabby ladders to God knows where, and I don't know what we're going to find down here, but I'm excited to see what it is.
Holy crap. You weren't kidding.
That's all. Look, so that's mainly
it's copper. It would be the bottom line of it. There's multiple different versions of it, but that's all in the coppers.
We then found another sketchy ladder that goes even deeper into the mine, and on the side of it was a old like ore shaft slide thing. So we're gonna try not to fall down that because that would be very problematic. They always tell you not to go down these ladders in mines, and I honestly don't suggest trying this at home. We are trained professionals on this, but the problem is if we did get down here and these ladders broke for whatever reason, our ascent out of here would be extremely difficult. Like extremely difficult. But as you can see, I'm having a great time. My friend Brian, on the other hand, well, he almost fell. Once we got down some of these vertical shafts, we found even more vertical shafts that honestly were even too dangerous for us to even attempt. So we decided to steer clear of them, but I wanted to throw a rock down and see what happened. And yeah, you can tell it's pretty far down if you watch carefully.
Right here.
And just when we thought things couldn't get absolutely any weirder, Jeff came down this hallway pushing a minecart on these minecart tracks. Like literally he found a minecart in this mine, got it ready, and brought it down to us. Like that's absolutely insane. Now let me tell you, I am a man of opportunities, and you know what I see before me at this point in time? I see a very, very beautiful opportunity to ride a minecart through an abandoned mine underneath Area 51, so we did exactly that. Now let me tell you, of all the things I've done in my life, riding a minecart underneath Area 51 in an abandoned mine is pretty high up there on the list of exciting things to do. Like, this literally doesn't get any better. But the adventure wasn't over. There was another mine shaft that was very difficult to climb inside, and well, nobody else wanted to climb inside, so I decided to do the logical thing and go in there alone in hopes to see if I could meet up with my friends later on. It was a pretty tight squeeze, but honestly it was pretty cool. There was a lot of this old copper and different ores, and you know, those wood beams holding this thing up were a little bit sketchy, so I decided to climb deeper inside. While climbing deeper into the mine, I accidentally kicked this wood beam holding the rocks up, but don't worry, Jeff, I put it back because I don't really want this mine to collapse, because that would kind of be bad for all of us. After a few minutes of claustrophobia and trying not to get stuck between these rocks, I had finally found another mine shaft, so I decided to see where it would end up leading me.
I branched off. Skinwalker, Skinwalker, Skinwalker. Come and get me.
Now honestly, I know what you're thinking. That was probably a terrible idea, and honestly, I would agree with you, but we're trying to test if skinwalkers are real or not, so we're gonna do all these awful ideas in hopes to see, well, some sort of skinwalker activity. I ended up finding another sketchy old wooden ladder next to a super deep vertical mine shaft, and I thought I might go back to the entrance, so I decided to do the logical thing and grab these old metal pipes and climb up the side of it. Honestly, it was a pretty far drop, so I'm really hoping I don't fall. Luckily, I ended up being right, and I didn't fall down the mine shaft, so that was 2 wins. I ended up meeting back up with Jeff, Brian, and Carl, and well, it was time to make our way out and check out another mine. The other reason I don't recommend doing this is honestly I'm not entirely sure what kind of mines these are, and being in Nevada, it's probably not the safest or best thing to do, so please make sure you guys don't recreate this. We ventured back down the really steep hill, and yep, we found yet again another mine, except this one was a little more difficult to get inside. It was very narrow and kind of hard to get in, but we ended up making it. We ventured pretty deep into the mine, like several minutes, and it was really cold in here. There was ice all over the walls and water dripping from the ceiling, and honestly, it was just all sorts of sketchy. There was a few offshoots on the side that I decided to try to see if I could squeeze myself inside of, and once I got in, unfortunately, it went absolutely nowhere, so I ended up having to try to turn myself around and come back out, but I had a good time while doing it. This mine itself, though, is really cool. There was a bunch of really neat ore all over the place, even though I have no idea what it is, which is probably not a good thing, but oh well, we're inside and we're gonna keep going. Once we got a little bit further inside the mine, we noticed that it was flooded and started to hear some weird noises down the cave.
That's what's moving around down there making noise. Listen. That's creepy as hell, dude.
In typical Smithereens fashion, nobody else wanted to go further down the mine due to it being flooded, so I decided that I was going to go deeper into the mine completely alone, wearing my cowboy boots because, well, I can. Immediately, once I got a little ways from the group and I noticed I was completely alone, I started to get that really bizarre feeling like I was being watched, which is strange because I didn't have that in the other mine. But again, that wasn't going to stop me from going as far as possible in this mine.
currently in this mine. I left everyone else behind. There was some water, and I decided I wanted to keep going. I don't know what kind of mine this is, but it's insane. I feel like I'm in a horror movie, I'll be honest. This is really sketchy.
At this point, I was at least 10 to 15 minutes deep inside this mine by myself, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's pretty far. And this ore was a little bit weird looking, almost looked like uranium or something like that, which I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to breathe in, but oh well. I came across this really old looking spider's web that honestly looked like it had been here for like a really long time, so I didn't want to disturb it too much. And then right after, I found another really deep vertical mine shaft that Jeff had told me about because he threw a ladder down there. Honestly, I didn't think that they thought I was going to make it this far, so I had to climb down the ladder just to see what was at the bottom and to tell Jeff that I, made it to the ladder and climbed all the way down. Once I got to the bottom, there wasn't really a whole lot down here, but it was kind of sketchy being down here because my brain could only think about what if someone pulled the ladder and I got stuck down here. So I made my way back out and decided to get closer to my friends so we could leave the mine because honestly, we've been in here for a really long time and it's getting hard to breathe and I just kind of want to breathe some nice fresh air. After we made it out of the mine, we realized it was time to get out of here and go back to Mount Wilson Ranch so we could get ready for paranormal investigations tonight because we have something really exciting planned. The plan was simple. My friend Brian and I were going to make ourselves bait for whatever creatures lurk around Mount Wilson Ranch while Carl stayed back at the saloon in attempts to communicate with whatever was out there.
Yeah, so we're gonna send you guys down as bait down into the lower meadow where there's been animal mutilations, right on top of where there's supposedly a buried UFO 200 feet underground transmitting a signal, where there's sightings of UFOs, shadow figures, and the ghosts of a Native American shaman that guards the place. So it's no joke. The government's been up here for decades, and so good luck.
You ready, Brian?
Yes, let's go.
Please do not try this at home. What we are doing is honestly a terrible idea, and I have no idea what's about to come from it. If there is something out here, I'm pretty sure we're about to agitate it to the maximum effect of the word. I don't think skinwalkers exist. Carl's up there meditating on skinwalkers and ghosts being here, so without further ado, Skinwalker, Skinwalker, Skinwalker. We're out here, come get us. Literally, as soon as I did that, we started to hear noises off in the bushes, and my friend Brian thought he caught something on the thermal imaging camera. I've told you guys from the beginning of starting this series that I don't believe in the paranormal, nor do I believe in skinwalkers, so we are putting ourselves out here at the absolute test of fate by making ourselves bait to whatever possibly lies out here. Everything about what I'm experiencing right now feels like I'm in a horror movie, and then it got even weirder when I started to get a phone call from some US government number. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but I'm a little bit concerned. Before we left, Carl told us to follow this path. They call it the Path of Mutilation because they've found, several mutilated bodies of animals along this path and think that there might be a potentiality for skinwalkers. The first place I wanted to investigate was that creepy treehouse in the middle of the forest because honestly, when I was inside of it, I just got a really creepy feeling and, we haven't tested fate enough, so why not test it a little bit more? Skinwalker, Skinwalker, Skinwalker. We are bait for you. Come and get us. Yeah, I've watched a lot of horror movies, and I'm honestly feeling like I'm a main character in the horror movie, and I don't think that that's really a good thing. This treehouse is absolutely terrifying, and it's even more terrifying at night. Things were about to get a lot worse for us, though. We received communications from Carl back at the saloon that he was hearing something on the roof of the saloon crawling around that was extremely bizarre, and he said that we need to be extremely careful with where we're at right now. Prior to me coming out here to Mount Wilson Ranch, Carl had talked to me very specifically about being extremely cautious out here, that there were things that I didn't understand and dangers that were beyond our comprehension, and honestly, at this point in time, I'm starting to think he might be telling the truth about this. Immediately after getting the communications from Carl, I started to feel as if there was something out there watching us, but we couldn't see anything out there. We tried the thermal imaging camera and all the different flashlights, and there's nothing that we can see. Everything inside me is telling me that we should turn around, especially because Carl just let us know that whatever was on the roof was now gone, meaning it was out here with us. So I decided to do the logical thing with Carl on comms to help narrate.
This is probably a terrible idea.
It's like in the worst place ever to do this right now, too.
out of anywhere I've ever been, this is the worst spot to do this. But we're gonna do it anyway. So, without further ado, my name is Smithereens. We're at Mount Wilson Ranch. There's possibly a skinwalker on the roof that's no longer there, so it could be out here around us. So we're gonna call it. Skinwalker, skinwalker, skinwalker. Now we wait.
The deeper we get into this forest, the more and more I feel like something is watching us, but it's driving me insane because I can't see anything around us. No matter where I look, there's just nothing there. While I'm out here, I'm starting to think more and more about that thermal imaging clip that we caught last night, and something about it is just not sitting right in my stomach. When you catch something on a thermal imaging camera, it means that that object is emitting heat of some sort, which automatically disproves the idea of it being a ghost or something paranormal. The more and more I play that video back in my head, I realize that whatever I caught in that hallway turned away as soon as I caught it on that thermal imaging camera. Basically what I'm trying to say is there is a potentiality that skinwalkers could really exist, and that was what was watching me in that hallway. And to make matters worse, Brian and I are now starting to hear things all around us, but again, I don't see anything, and neither does he. At this point in time, we had finally walked the entirety of the path of mutilation and realized it was probably time to get back to make sure that Carl was okay, and honestly for our own safety, because something just doesn't feel right out here. Right at this point, me and my friend Brian started to get that unnerving feeling like we were being watched and nauseated to our stomachs. I don't know what's out here, but we started to hear something.
Hey. Shh. I swear I heard something actually.
That's when Carl let us know that our current location used to be the site where they did MK Ultra mind control testing on, well, children, which honestly is pretty dark and creepy and is making this just feel that much worse. The best way that I could relate it to something is think of the show Stranger Things and what occurred to Eleven. That occurred here, which is pretty dark and creepy. At this point, Carl was still letting us know that there was weird sounds occurring at the saloon, so we decided it was time to head back there to see if we could catch anything on camera. Carl let us know that whatever was out there was possibly on the roof of the saloon, so we took matters into our own hands and decided to investigate.
Do a walk around to the roof. So Carl said that he was hearing stuff on the roof. So I think that it is worthwhile.
At this point in time, we're not seeing or hearing anything on the roof, but Carl swears that there was something up there, which is honestly pretty ominous, especially because we're out here just the two of us. We decided to complete a full walk around of the saloon in hopes to see if there was something up there, but we didn't end up seeing anything up there, but that doesn't mean there wasn't something there. One thing I can tell you absolutely for certain is at this point in time, the energy feels extremely off, like there had to have been something here, I just don't know what it was. If Carl really did hear something on the roof and we no longer see it up there, that means that whatever it is could be out in the bushes currently stalking us. We ended up getting the fright of our life though when we saw this thing staring back at us in the window, which was honestly kind of terrifying. After searching around the entire premise of the saloon, yeah, we can come to a conclusion that there wasn't anything that we could see on the roof, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't something up there at some point in time. We decided it would probably be best if we went back inside the saloon to meet up with Carl to see if he could let us know about his experience and just to do some investigating of the inside of the saloon, because that's where we caught something last night.
What's going on?
So, do you want me to tell you what was going on here?
Give us an update.
It was pretty weird, man.
Okay.
Crawling and crawling around, like on the roof over here. It was crawling up on the top of the roof, and then it would go and slide across the roof up there.
That's
And then
weird.
I'd hear crawling, and then Odie, the dog, was just going bonkers
Really?
outside. And this was when you guys were clear in the upper meadow, like up by the upper pond
Yeah.
up there. So she wasn't barking at you. She was
No.
like barking out here around the saloon, and I could hear something sliding around and crawling up there.
That's crazy.
I don't know. And then I went off. I've walked around, went around the whole building, and then I sat in here. And then it's like I quit filming, and I hear.
We decided to end the night off with one more paranormal investigation similar to what we did last night. Carl would sit in one room and try to talk to the spirits or whatever is out there while I wandered around with the Geiger counter to see if we could catch anything. The only thing that I ended up catching was the Geiger counter spiking yet again, which again shows that there's some sort of anomalous activity occurring here, but that was about all that happened on night 2. In all honesty though, that doesn't matter to me because what we caught on night 1 here was absolutely bone chilling. I still can't stop thinking about it and have no idea what we caught on camera. So what do you guys think down below? Did we catch proof of a skinwalker or some sort of evil being on camera? What I can tell you is there is something absolutely bizarre going on here at Mount Wilson Ranch, and I really do hope that they uncover the mysteries within. Be sure to catch Mount Wilson Ranch on all social media platforms as they attempt to discover the secrets within Mount Wilson Ranch. Be sure to give Carl Crusher a follow on all social media platforms as he taught me a lot about paranormal investigation and the unknown and has some amazing videos regarding it. I truly thank you guys for watching the video and for coming along for this very mysterious, bizarre, and insane ride that is that of Mount Wilson Ranch in Nevada.